before we start our keyword research, it's important to understand some keyword terms that we're going to be mentioning. The first one is going to be search term, and this one is actually pretty obvious. This is going to be a term that is used by customers to search for your product. So they're literally words that they're going to be using in Etsy search box in order to find your product or products that they've been looking for. So these are search terms, which is also similar to keyword phrase. So keyword phrase is when you use several keywords together. So for example, it could be wedding planners. This could already be a keyword phrase. And that brings us to the next term, which are broad and narrow keywords. So when I talk about a broad keyword, usually it's something very general, and a lot of things could be associated to it. So for example, if I say the word wedding, so many products could be associated to the word wedding. I could be selling wedding dresses, wedding arrangements, wedding planners, wedding shower games. So because it's such a general term, the competition for that keyword is very high because there's so many possible products that are associated to this category. So a great strategy to actually be seen by customers is to use narrow keywords or specific keywords. And those could be one or two keywords that are extremely specific to a product, or it could be a keyword phrase, just as we talked about. And the more words you add to it, the results will get more and more specific. So for example, minimalist wedding invitations. By using those three keywords, you've already eliminated everything else that didn't have anything to do with weddings, with wedding invitations, and most likely with minimalist wedding invitations. So now there is a smaller pond to where you can easily be seen by your customers because it's less competitive since you've been more specific. You've used narrow keywords or narrow keyword phrases. And then last but not least, that brings us to the long tail keywords. So when we talk about long tail, we're usually talking about at least 3 keywords put together in order to create this specific keyword phrase. And this graph right here illustrates what I've been explaining, which is the less specific you get with keywords, the more the competition, the higher the competition. And the more specific you get, the less the competition. So we definitely want to stay within that more specific spot. And that is going to automatically bring some broader keywords. As I said, wedding is a very broad keyword, but if your product is minimalist wedding invitations, then you start getting more and more specific, and you could get even more. So for example, you could do minimalist wedding invitations downloads. So now all of the ones that are physical products are gone, and only the ones that are downloadable are now in the search results. So I just wanted to make this quick video for you so you would understand some of these terms that we're going to be mentioning, and also understand the importance of those specific keywords during our keyword research and during our listing and shop optimization as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the next video. In this video, I'll be sharing with you my favorite Etsy keyword research methods. I believe that these tools are going to help you compile the best possible master keyword list so that you can later use to optimize your Etsy shop and products. So I'm also going to be leaving a file in the resources below with all of the links to the tools for your convenience. So let's go ahead and check them out. The first tool is, of course, Etsy Marketplace. You've already seen a little bit on how to use Etsy to get keyword ideas during the product research videos, and we're going to be utilizing that as well, the search box and all of the keyword suggestions that Etsy gives us, as well as analyzing our competitors and our top competitors' listings because they're doing a lot of things well, and if they're showing up in the top of the search result is because they're most likely have really well optimized listings. So we're definitely going to be taking a look at that. And we're also going to be using, of course, Marmalade. That, in my opinion, is the best tool for you to compile a list very easily. So for you to have access to that list, and you don't have to manually create one because you can easily download it. And of course, as we've seen it before, it gives you data straight from Etsy. And that's also similar to eRank. So eRank is a tool specifically for Etsy businesses. And it's great because it also pulls data straight from Etsy, and it gives you wonderful keyword suggestions. There's the free version and the paid version, and the free version is more than enough for you to get wonderful keyword suggestions. So we're definitely going to be using that. Next, we have the AMZ Suggestion Expander. And this is a Chrome extension that you can use along with Amazon.com. And when you start searching for something, for a keyword, it starts giving all kinds of related keyword suggestions. So it's a really wonderful tool because, as we've already talked about it before, Amazon is the biggest e-commerce platform today. So it's a wonderful source of what customers, especially within the same country that you're going to be serving with your Etsy shop as well, what they're actually searching for and the top results. And then next, there's Keywords Everywhere, which is also a Chrome extension. And we're going to be using that alongside Google. And I'm going to be showing all of the different suggestions that it will give you, as well as all of the data that comes with it. And similarly, there's Keyword Surfer. It's another Google Chrome extension that we're also going to be using alongside Google. And you can have both of those installed at the same time to get very similar results for the same search. So I'll show you how to do that. And then you can also use Pinterest for all of the reasons that we've already mentioned here in the course before. I will be using Pinterest today during our tutorial, especially because you've already seen how to use Pinterest as a research tool for product ideas, the same way you can use it to actually get keyword ideas. So it's definitely a wonderful tool. And then I really wanted to mention Merch Informer. And this tool is specifically for merch products. So if you're you're doing any print on demand or any type of merchandise product, this is definitely a tool that you want to be checking out. I won't be using that today with our example, but I didn't want to forget to mention that to you guys because it's a really wonderful tool if that applies to your type of product. And of course, you don't need to be using all of these different tools when doing your keyword research. I just wanted to make sure to give you all of these different suggestions so you have options. You might just end up sticking to one or two that are your favorites, but I would highly recommend that you try at least two so that you can validate the results that you get. So I hope this got you excited. I'm excited to show you guys how to dive in and actually start collecting this master keyword list. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those below, and let's go ahead and get to the next video.
Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. If you haven't seen me yet in the course, hi, my name's Sumner, I'm Allie's husband, and I handle all of our kind of keyword research, copywriting, title tags, description, alt text, all of that. So because I involve so heavily on kind of the keyword research and optimization side of our own Etsy listings and helping others with their Etsy shops as well, in this video, I might blow your brain because we're going to be talking about keyword research for Etsy in a way that I guarantee you have never ever seen before. And this has come from over a year of research and testing, and we've actually changed our strategy a bit to where we used to kind of recommend using Marmalead as our #1 Etsy keyword research tool. We've now moved to this tool, and I'll explain the reasons why. It was a little bit of a slow decision intentionally to make sure that we have some data back, a lot of thorough research before we ever make a recommendation or a change, but ultimately it's going to be extremely beneficial to you. Okay, so essentially, right, as you already know, your potential customers are typing all different kinds of keywords, both on Etsy and on Google, which you can appear for, your Etsy listing can show up for. And then ultimately, they type in those keywords, your listing can then appear for those keywords, a percentage of people are going to click, and a percentage of those people who click are going to purchase, right? So the more keywords that are in your listing, the more visibility you're going to get and the more sales you're going to get. Okay, that's kind of the basic here. So your keyword optimization is extremely important. And it's the same thing if, like, if you get dirty water out of your tap and then drink that, that's not going to be good for you, right? That's going to be very unhealthy and could even kill you. Same thing with your Etsy listing. If you're putting dirty keywords, per se, into your listing, it could kill your listing. So it's the same idea here. So this is vitally important to make sure that you have a clean and a very robust keyword list, which I'm going to show you how to do. So basically, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a master keyword list, all of the relevant keywords that your customers are searching for on Google and Etsy. Then in later videos, I'm going to show you how to take that keyword list and use it to create your titles, your tags, optimize your description with them, your alt text, all of that and more. But this is kind of the base of that you're going to build everything off of. And it's a lot easier than people think. I know a lot of Etsy sellers get scared when it comes to keywords. Oh, I'm not good with keywords. I'm so analytical. And it's very, very simple. I promise you. And I'm going to show you the simplest, but also the most advanced way to do this. All right. So first things first, eRank has been growing in popularity by a lot of Etsy sellers, especially somewhat recently. And we've used eRank, we've used Marmalead, we've used KeySearch, we've used dozens of different keyword research tools for Amazon, for Walmart, for Etsy, for YouTube, for Google. So we have a very, very good understanding of keyword research tools, how they work, the accuracy of them, all of that. And I want to kind of just compare, because a lot of you who may be watching have either heard about eRank or currently using it, and how eRank compares to KeySearch, which is our recommended keyword tool, and kind of compare both. And one key point that I want to make. So let's pretend in this example that we're selling a men's wallet, and we want to create a listing that's well optimized for terms that relate to men's wallet. So what I do is I can go here to eRank, right? I'll go to the Keyword Explorer. Here in the Keyword Explorer, I'm going to type in men's wallet for the USA, because we're going to sell in the US marketplace. I hit search, and this is what we're looking for. Down here is our keyword list, right? So we have a keyword, the average searches in the US on Etsy, per se, the Google searches, which aren't accurate, by the way. So we have our data here, and then we see if we scroll down, we have about 100 keywords that are generated, right? And many of these keywords, right, have very, very low search volume on Etsy, less than 20, right? Or even 20s, 30s, 40s, very, very low, right? So about 100 keywords. If we use this tool, KeySearch, you see here, same idea. We go to the Keyword Explorer. A lot of these keyword research tools are very similar, but we go to the Keyword Explorer, so keyword research, type in men's wallet, select your marketplace, United States, select related keywords, and hit search, which I've already done here. You can see that we have the term men's wallet appearing here with some different data. What we're looking for is this section here. We have 700 keywords that are related and similar to the base keyword men's wallet. So in eRank, we had 100 keywords. Here in KeySearch, we have 700 keywords. So remember what I just said, right? You already know this. The more keywords you have in your Etsy listing, ultimately the more sales you're going to make. So using KeySearch instead of eRank, you're going to find more keywords. And another point that I want to make is KeySearch is a Google keyword tool. And you may be thinking, well, Sumner, I'm selling on Etsy, not on Google. I want to make sure that I'm specifically ranking and finding keywords that are typed on Etsy. Well, guess what? After a lot of research and testing, all the keywords that eRank will show you, and Marmalead and other Etsy-specific keyword research tools, KeySearch will show you and more. So KeySearch is going to show you all the same keywords eRank shows and additional keywords on top of that. So guess what? You're going to find keywords that 99%, literally statistically, over 99% of other Etsy sellers don't even know about. Why? Because most Etsy sellers are all using the same keyword research tools. So by using a Google keyword research tool that still shows you relevant keywords, people are typing these keywords on Etsy and on Google, it's not just on Google, right? So you're able to find these keywords, optimize your listing with them. You're going to be able to show up for terms that none of your competitors are showing up for because they don't even have it in their listing. So it's going to help you outrank them and ultimately get more sales and visibility than any of your competitors and ultimately maximize your sales. That's kind of the goal is, however sales that you can potentially make with your individual listings in your total Etsy shop, you want to maximize that as much as possible, right? Meet your potential as much as possible. And this is going to help you do that significantly more than eRank, Marmalead, or any other tool. So if you've kind of heard, like I said, in the past, we mentioned Marmalead, and if you still use Marmalead or eRank, it still works. You'll have a good keyword list. You can still optimize your listing with them. However, like I said, we're always looking for the best. So however we optimize our own Etsy listings, we're going to share exactly how we do that with you. We don't want to hold anything back, okay? And even if that means changing past strategies for the future, okay? So that's kind of the overview. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you've ever heard us, in any other video talking about Marmalead, just think about KeySearch instead and use the same principles, just using this keyword list instead. So more keywords, and also, like I mentioned before, you want to show up for searches on Etsy, but also you want to show up on Google. And by using a Google keyword research tool and optimizing your Etsy listing with them, it'll help you rank on Etsy, period. And it'll also then help you increase rank on Google. And there's another really cool part I'd like to show you with this tool. So the main purpose of your master keyword list is ultimately to have keywords that you'll then plug in your title, your tags, everything kind of optimize on a keyword level your Etsy listing and your Etsy shop. What else you can do, and this is something that a lot of sellers don't know about, especially when you're using a Google keyword research tool, is product research. You can actually find products with high demand and low competition that no other Etsy seller is finding, again, because you're using it in a different way. You're looking at different data that nobody else is looking at. It's like this kind of gold mine in the corner, and you've kind of discovered it because you've been rolling this course, and nobody else is talking about it, and we want to keep that a secret. So don't share it with your friends. Keep it a secret. And I'll show you how this works. So anyway, you have a product idea. Let's say you already sell men's wallets, and you want to think of another variation, another similar product, maybe it's leather, wood, whatever that might look like, for the men's wallet category. So what we can do is go over here to the score column and organize in ascending order, so from lowest to high. And what the score column represents is the lower the number means the less competitors there are on the search engine's results page, or also known as SERP page, right? So Google is a huge search engine, way bigger than Etsy, than Amazon, than Walmart, than even YouTube. It's massive. So the lower the score means the less number of competitors. If there's a low number of options showing up for a certain keyword on Google, there's a very good chance there's not a lot of options showing up on Etsy either. Now, it's not always the case, and actually most of the time that's not the case. However, in many, many cases, right, if you just sit down for an hour and just look for product opportunities, you will find product opportunities with relatively high Google search volume and not a lot of competition on Etsy. And I'll just kind of quickly show you. So again, organize lowest to high. Green is kind of where you want to stay. That means very, very low competition on Google, right? And then we want to look here in the volume column, okay? Look for higher search volume. What I like to do is anywhere from 500 monthly searches plus. And that's basically how many times a certain keyword is searched per month on Google for a certain keyword. In this case, Editor Wallet is searched 880 times on average per month over the past 12 months. So we kind of look through, and also, even though we have 700 keywords, most of these keywords you're going to kind of ignore or ultimately delete from your master keyword list because a lot of them are going to be irrelevant. You can kind of think about it like this, like eRank, right, or Marmalade or these other tools are Etsy specific. So when you search for keywords, it's going to give you a few keywords, but there's going to be, you're going to use most of those keywords, if not all those keywords in your listing, right? With Key Search, this Google keyword tool, there's going to be a lot more keywords, but most of them you're not going to use. You're going to kind of, it's like panning for gold. You're going to sift through a lot of dirt, but at the end, you're going to have way more gold or way more relevant keywords. That's what I mean by gold, left at the end of using Key Search than using eRank. You'll have less gold with eRank, you'll have less gold with Marmalade, you'll have more gold or more keywords, but it just takes a little bit more work to get through, which I'll show you here in a second. So anyway, with that being said, we're just going to, key here is just kind of quickly scrolling through, right? So Editor Wallet, it might be a brand, so I'm going to ignore that. Custom wallets, I can already guarantee there's going to be a lot of competition on Etsy, but we can basically take this keyword, type it into Etsy, and quickly look through and think, if I'm a customer typing this on Etsy, am I going to buy one of these existing options, or are there any options at all? And a lot of times, I've actually helped clients find products that there's literally, there's, let's say, 500 monthly searches on Google, there's 0 options on Etsy. So what you can do is create a listing, and you'll have those keywords in your title as well as other parts of your listing, and ultimately can help you rank on Google and on Etsy for that keyword really quickly because you've identified a place where people are searching for something and they can't find many options or even any options. So custom wallets. So we check out like Western wallets, Bison wallets on Etsy. Are there a lot of good options? Is there really strong competition? If so, yeah, maybe we stay away. If there's not a lot of good options, this could be a great opportunity for us to enter this market, right? And there's so many. Again, take an hour and kind of go through. You can get through so many, but even within 5 minutes, you can find, trifold wallets, cowboy wallets, aluminum card holder, that's interesting. Infinity wallet, rodeo wallet, right? So these are all different types of wallets, and each one serves a different type of customer. So that's all you do is go to Etsy, type in each on their own, look at the search results, and then do a gut check. If you're a customer, are there enough options for you to choose from? Or are the options not very good? Or maybe in some cases there's like none. Like there's wallets, but not this specific type of wallet. That's amazing. I could be the only one on Etsy, and ultimately also show up in Google really easily, right? Which is really powerful. Otherwise, if you want to try to rank on Google, good luck spending like 12 months to 2 years every week creating blog content until you ultimately rank your blog, on Google. Etsy can get ranked on Google much faster. Still might take some time, like a few months, but can happen much faster. So anyway, that was a side note about product research, a little hack that I want to give you. If you want a full video on that, let me know in the Q&A section, but I think we've already covered that in depth. So again, going back to the purpose of the video, kind of using Key Search to make a master keyword list for your listing. Another note that I want to make about Key Search, in case you're still kind of unsure of using a Google keyword tool, I originally found out about Key Search about a year ago from a good friend of mine. She actually has created a blog, so she has a very successful blog. She generates about $20,000 per month in just Amazon affiliate income alone, the Amazon Associates program. What she uses to rank her blog content is this tool, which is very inexpensive. She said, go with this tool. This is the most accurate, one of the most expensive, extremely comprehensive. Like this is kind of a secret in the blogging community. I started using this for some other endeavors, and then I thought, could this apply to Etsy, right? I started doing a lot of testing and found that this keyword tool will show me all the Etsy keyword tools, right? It says it's coming from Google, but it's the same keywords that are being typed on Etsy plus a lot more, right? So that's kind of how I came across this tool, and just another kind of data point for why this is so powerful. So yeah, very, very powerful tool for a lot of different varieties, but even just for Etsy keyword optimization, it's amazing. So anyway, getting back to it, go back up here to your keyword list after you've typed in your main kind of product keyword. Like we are selling a men's wallet, so we want to optimize our Etsy listing for men's wallet. We're going to sort in descending order by search volume. Next, what I like to do is up here in export. We're going to export this to a CSV file, right? And we can just export everything. So just this top option here, click on that. It'll download as a CSV. And then from there, what I like to do is then upload that into a Google spreadsheet. You could use Excel or Google. I prefer Google Sheets. And now that we've uploaded our keyword data here into our Google spreadsheet, it'll look something like this. And first of all, I'll do is just quickly kind of format to my liking. You can leave it as is or play with it as much as you want. I'm going to Command A to select everything. I'm going to change the font to Montserrat, make it a little bit more readable, increase the font. For this row, I'm going to make it orange, white text, make it bold, center. Nothing you have to do, just what I like to do to kind of make it a little bit more appealing. So we're going to freeze the first row, so then we can organize. Great. So this is great. Next, what you can do to kind of just really focus on search volume is hide or delete these rows. These are really irrelevant for our purposes. So I'm going to delete these 3 rows, and we're left with keyword and monthly search volume. Okay. So here's your keyword list. Remember, it's 700, so it's quite a lot of keywords. However, with this next part of the process, you can go through up until around, go down here, the 1,000 mark, and just go through this process I'm about to show you up to this point, or depending on the size of your keyword list, go to around the 500 mark. Just to where it's the 80-20 rule, 20% of keywords are going to drive 80% of your sales. So you're kind of focusing on those top search volume keywords. Generally, the higher search volume keyword is, as long as it's relevant to your product, the more important it is, right? Because you want to make sure that keyword's in your list gets more search volume, right, than some others, okay? So that's kind of the overall idea, but you can go through the entire list, and it will take a little bit of time. If I can find a faster way of optimizing this, I will let you know. I'm still testing a few things, but right now, the best way to kind of clean up this keyword list is we want to go through and delete any keyword that is not 100% relevant to our product. So think about this. If someone types in this keyword into Etsy, and our product shows up, would they be likely to purchase it? So I'll give you an example. So we're selling, let's say it's a leather men's wallet. That's what we're selling. Kind of a very nice, classy wallet, but that's kind of the product idea you can kind of envision. So here we have Louis Vuitton's men's wallet. Okay, so Louis Vuitton is a very specific brand. If someone's typing in Louis Vuitton, they're probably interested specifically in Louis Vuitton. And also, remember this is Google search volume, so kind of think about that as well. That okay, I understand a lot of people are searching for this on Google because obviously Louis Vuitton has a website, so people are trying to find that website. So in this case, it's very obvious. When someone types this into Etsy to find my product, the answer is no, right? When someone's typing in Louis Vuitton, they want a Louis Vuitton wallet, right? Unless you specifically made a product that is very similar to Louis Vuitton. This is a little hack that you can actually do, and another reason why you use Google keyword research over Etsy is let's say you made a product and it's kind of a similar style to Louis Vuitton. What you can do, and make sure you read Etsy's terms of service before doing so in case anything changes, but what some sellers will do is for their Etsy tags, which we cover in a later video, they'll actually use the word Louis Vuitton in their Etsy tags. So no other seller's doing that on Etsy. So a few people might type that into Etsy, Louis Vuitton, or Louis Vuitton, type of wallet, even though they type in Louis Vuitton, they're looking for a similar aesthetic, and then your listing can actually show up for that. So only if you've specifically created a wallet or a product that's similar to this brand, would I maybe use just one of those kind of terms in the tags. Don't use it in your title or your description because you can actually get that shut down because you're basically saying, hey, we're Louis Vuitton, which is a lie. But in your tags, you can do that because you're basically telling Etsy, hey, we're similar to Louis Vuitton. In your title or your description, that's public facing. If you're facing the public and saying, hey, public, we're Louis Vuitton, you can get your listing shut down and just correct it and get it back up. It's not a big deal, but you want to avoid that. So whether you know for sure, okay, people are typing this into Etsy looking for my product, or you're not really sure, go ahead and delete. So in this case, all these 3 are Louis Vuitton, we're going to delete, right? Again, we're kind of cleaning through the dirt and getting rid of all that muck to get to the gold. So here we have men's wallets, perfect. Those are relevant. Best wallets for men, yep. So when someone type in best wallet for men, 100% someone would be doing that. And the words like best or top usually don't show up in Etsy specific keyword tools, but they'll show up here. So is it relevant? Yes, there's a percentage of people who are going on Etsy and typing in best wallets for men. So we want to make sure it's part of our keyword list. So far, these 3 keywords, these are all great. Again, Gucci men's wallet, let's assume that's not. People are not searching, want to buy our product when they're searching for Gucci. Minimalist, you have to think, is your product minimalist or not? If it is, leave it in there. If not, delete it. It's that simple. So it's very simple, very easy, just a little bit time consuming, as you can see. And I'll run through a few more examples just so you know. This is pretty much it. So if you've got the picture, you're clear, you can go ahead and move to the next video, because I know this was a lot. But if you want to see a few more examples, I'll go ahead and run through a little bit more here before we go on to the next video. So leather wallet, yep, that is relevant. LV men's wallet, I'm not really sure, so what I could do is actually go to Google and type this in. Okay, so it's a specific type from, looks like Versace, so apologies to my Italian viewers for my American English. All right, money clip wallet, same idea here. Slim wallet for men, is your wallet slim or not? If it's not, do not include this. A lot of Etsy sellers do this where they're like, it's somewhat relevant to my product, so I want to get as many keywords to get as many sales as possible, but taking that a step further, right, you don't want as many keywords, you want as many relevant keywords. That's kind of the key here. And now you kind of understand the difference between relevant and irrelevant, which is why I didn't use that language before, but that's really your goal. You want as many relevant keywords in your listing as possible. If you have a bunch of irrelevant keywords, what's going to happen is Etsy, when they're testing out your listing, they might show you for some of those keywords, right? With Etsy ads, which we'll talk about later, how they actually pull from your title and your tags, and with your SEO, maybe a few times show up this keyword, you're going to have a very low conversion rate. Etsy's going to look at your conversion rate, like, hey, people are typing this keyword, they might even click on your product, or they don't even click on your product at all, but they're not buying either way. So we're definitely not going to show you for this keyword because you're definitely not relevant. Like our shoppers don't like your product for this keyword. So instead of trying to the product for everybody is the product for nobody. Same thing with keywords. So be very focused. Again, with each keyword, it's going to take some time. It's easy, but it takes some time. If someone's typing into Etsy, is there a good likelihood they're going to buy my product? Is it relevant? So is it slim? Yes, then leave it in there. Goyard card holder might be a specific brand, so we'll ignore that. Or if we're not sure, we're going to go ahead and delete. If we don't know, we can type that into Etsy or Google to kind of get some clarity. Coach men's wallet, again, brand, trifold. Let's say that, nope, that is irrelevant. We do not have a trifold wallet. Michael Kors, again, specific. Credit card holder. So yeah, could be. Yeah, credit card holder, men's credit card holder. Yes, men's wallet, men's card holder, front pocket wallet. Yep. Michael Kors. We have a couple here. Carhartt, Ariat. Delete those and so on, right? Because those are all brands. And now you're seeing a lot of brands show up here. This is a very broad, very competitive category. So that's why you're actually seeing a ton of very irrelevant keywords. The more narrow you get, and that's kind of what we recommend, is starting in niches a little bit. It may not generate a ton of profit and revenue every single month, but you'll generate profit. It'll be very easy, very low competition. You'll get in there and actually start making some sales, build up that confidence, build up that profitability, and kind of move on to some more competitive products, master that, move on to the next level, and so on. This is a very competitive. If you want to try to sell men's wallets, as you can see, there's a lot of top, Fortune 1000 companies and some of the top brands in the world selling products and competing with lots and lots of ad spend. So that's why you're seeing this show up for this example. But I want to kind of show a more difficult example of optimizing, and it likely should be a little bit easier and less time consuming for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, go through this process until you get to around depending on the size of your keyword list, to the 1,000 mark, or if you want to take a step further, which I would recommend going through the extra effort, going to the 500s here, around the 500 mark, right? That should be plenty for you to get started. Then, with what's left on your list, that is now your master keyword list. You're good to go. That's what we're going to use to then optimize our title, our tags, our description, our alt text, all of that. And by kind of infusing these strategically throughout our Etsy listing, we're going to maximize visibility on Etsy, maximize it on Google, and ultimately get the most sales possible and get more sales than your competition. So hopefully this kind of made sense. I know it was quite a bit explaining kind of the process and science behind it and the actual practicality. So of course, if you have any questions, please let me know in the Q&A section below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next tutorial.
Welcome to the Etsy SEO module. We're finally ready to really dive into our Etsy shop and our Etsy product listings to make them the best that they can possibly be by optimizing everything about it to make sure you attract as many customers as possible. I'm super excited and I hope you are too, so let's get to it. So it's important that we start by understanding what SEO is. So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And Etsy works as a search engine because customers are able to search for things on their search box and then get results shown to them. Get results filtered based on the keywords that they have used. So when we're talking about optimizing our product listings or our Etsy shop storefront, we're talking about using those same search terms that customers have been using or that they will be using when trying to find your product throughout our listings, throughout our copy, and throughout our images as well, as much as we can, so that we can be seen by them, so that Etsy can pair whatever people are searching to your listing as a result. And the way that we do that is by using those search terms within our listing and making sure we're constantly optimizing the different aspects of our product listing. So before we actually start optimizing our listings and our Etsy shop storefront, I wanted to talk about just a few SEO notes. The first one is that singular words and plural words are very important. And that is because the most similar we can get to the words that our customers are going to be typing, the higher the chances that we're going to be shown in those results. So if your customers are typing dog t-shirt in singular, then as opposed to dog t-shirts, it really does matter if you have both options or just one of the options within your product listing. Because if you're typing, for example, dog t-shirts, they might be interested in more than one or a collection or something like that. So Etsy will always try to match the best possible results to what they think the customer is trying to find. So just keep in mind that if you go ahead and just use the word t-shirt, you won't necessarily be showing up, or at least not as high for the results when someone types in t-shirts in plural. Next, misspellings are also important, and that is because of the exact same reason. If you end up misspelling a word, someone else who has actually spelled the word correctly has better chances to be shown in the results for that search term. However, if you find a way to actually include some really common misspellings that a lot of customers type, then you actually have higher chances to be showing up in the results whenever they do type that search term with that misspelling. So it's good to keep in mind. Next, it's really important as well, the keyword phrase order. So as an example that I said before, if we're talking about dog t-shirts, or if you say t-shirt dogs or t-shirts for dogs or t-shirts of dogs, those are different search terms. So just keep that in mind that the order that you put the words together will have an impact for the optimization of that specific term or terms that are variables to those. And then last but not least, repetition. So you will see that you are going to naturally end up repeating some of the broader keywords. So if I'm in the wedding category, I'm probably going to end up repeating the word wedding when I put wedding shower invitations, or later on when I use beautiful minimalist invitations for weddings. So you will naturally end up repeating some words, but you can also do that on purpose. You actually could be repeating some strategic keywords, the most important keywords that you want to be showing up for, to tell Etsy that whoever is searching that keyword term is going to be really interested in your product listing. So I just wanted to mention these notes before we start because you're going to see me using strategies that relate to these notes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the next video. Whenever people talk about listing optimization, most people only focus on the copy and the text and using the keywords to optimize your listing. But what is extremely important is to also optimize your product images. Actually, Etsy, a couple years back, did a survey with their customers, and they found out that 90% of customers have said that they made purchasing decisions totally based on the product images. So not the title, not the description, not the product price, but solely based on the product images. So now you can understand how important it is to have top-notch product images, no matter the type of product that you're offering. So here's a little checklist of types of images that you should be considering having for your product listing. First, have product details. So try showing different sides of your product, especially if it's a physical product, if there's a different aspect of it, depending on the angle that you see. Maybe zoom in and really show some really nice detail. If there's like a fabric related to it, maybe get a really close-up of the type of fabric. Try to convey as much of the details of the product as possible, the quality, the craftsmanship. So absolutely important to show the product details. but also it's important to show product features and infographics. So, as I said, a lot of people will not be reading your description or even reading your product title to find out what size it is or how it's best used or anything like that. So the best way to convey this information is through images that makes the photos and text. So, for example, product dimensions. On a photo, you go ahead and show the actual product dimension. And better yet, if you have something else to show the scale of that product. Another opportunity is to have infographics displaying some of the benefits of that product. So have some beautiful icons or point to parts of your product and highlight the best benefits and features of your products. That can not only motivate the customer to make the purchase, but also it can save you time on a lot of questions that customers might have because they didn't take time to read the description or anything like that. A lot of times sellers end up getting a lot of messages of things that they could have conveyed to the customers on their product listing, including their product images. Next, it would be a product in use or a lifestyle image of your product. So for example, if you're selling a backpack, it would be wonderful to actually see someone holding the backpack, carrying it on their back, the backpack with items inside, and not just this beautiful, perfect image of the backpack on a nice background. So very, very important are the product use and lifestyle. And if you have a digital product, don't worry, because in the next video, I'm going to be mentioning some mock-up ideas so that you can really spice up your product images. Next, try using a customer review. So maybe have a photo of your product with 5 stars and then a really nice review about the product that a previous customer has left. Because as I said, a lot of people do not scroll down to actually read things that could help them decide and purchase this product. So great opportunity would be to include that as an image. And then also to have instructions. And that goes for physical products as well as digital products. A lot of times customers still have doubts on how this is going to work or what's really the step-by-step process of downloading a digital product or how to best put together that physical product that you're selling. So using an image to convey those instructions can really help close that sale. And then lastly, product videos. This is somewhat of a newer feature, and I bet that it's going to be upgraded and improved. Maybe longer videos are going to be allowed, but if you can, definitely take advantage of the video that you can include within your product listing. And it could be of anything. It could be someone using your product. It could be showing some aspects of the product with just hands. It could be a quick explanation, a time lapse on how to assemble the product. There's so many different ideas, so I highly recommend that you take advantage of this opportunity. And then now I actually wanted to show you an example of a listing that, in my opinion, does really well with their product images. So first, their main image is what we would call it a lifestyle image because it shows the product being used and the types of things that you can actually put into the basket, and that makes such a big difference if you compare that to just a photo with a white background of just a basket. Then you have no sense of scale, or you can't really envision all of the things that you can put into it right away. So I think this was a great choice for the main image. They also have a product video. And I really like this because it shows someone actually using the product. And they also highlight features and benefits of the product. So really 10 out of 10 with this video. Customers can easily envision them using that product as well. They can see it within the context that the product will most likely be used on a living room. And as I said, some of the features or worries that they might have, oh, I wonder if I can wash it in the machine and all that. And they convey that really quickly on this video. And then they have a few more product lifestyle images in a few different scenarios. And they also have this infographics. And they did this really well because even though they do have it on the title, the product dimensions, it's really helpful when you can really show these scales. People really pay attention to that, as well as I said, some product features that can really help convince the customer to purchase this product. Long, flexible handles, stylish design, organic cotton, wonderful, wonderful idea. And then they have a few images of their product variations, so all of the different colors that they offer, because it's important if you're offering different colors to actually show images of those colors, because here you can choose all of the different options, and if customers do not know what that would look like, they will most likely not go ahead and purchase that because they haven't been able to see it. So this was just a quick overview of a listing that I think is doing really well. So just so you guys have a reference, and I hope this was helpful. In the next video, I'm going to be giving you tips for product photography and for product mock-ups if you're doing any type of digital product. So I'm super excited. Let's get to it. Now that you know the importance of product images, I want to give you some product photography tips. So first, obviously, it's really helpful that you have a nice camera. But nowadays, honestly, most smartphones are more than enough, especially if you have the right lighting. So if you don't have a camera of your own, considering borrowing from a friend or maybe even renting a nice camera, or if you have a smartphone, try with your phone instead. You might be surprised at how good quality of images you can actually get. Next, consider buying a light box and or backgrounds. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. It could be really helpful for you to get very professional product images. Some of them actually already include different color backgrounds, but this is great because no matter what kind of lighting you have at your home, you can get really professional photos with these light boxes. And depending on the size of your product, you can get smaller light boxes that are pretty inexpensive as well. And I did not include that on my list, but obviously if your product requires or would be really well displayed in some props like this one, definitely recommend investing in those. And then there are other types of backgrounds that I really like, which are textured backgrounds. And those are amazing for you to showcase your product in different scenarios. It can really give a sense of style to your product images, which is really important for your customers to start envisioning and get that inspiration from your images to how they can actually use your product. So highly recommend that. And then next, I recommend that as much as you can, because you've seen the importance of lifestyle images, that maybe you either hire a model or that you just ask friends to come around and then wear your products or use your products. Their faces don't even need to show up. It could be like close up of their hands or whatever it is. And we've actually done that with our first product. We invited friends over and we took photos of them, so it was really, really nice. And that could actually be a fun party that you throw with your friends while they're actually using your product and you're getting really good photos. But if you don't want to do that, you do have the option for models. And don't think that you have to spend a lot of money with models. You can actually hire models for really inexpensive rates, especially if you go through Facebook groups. In most cities, at least in the United States, you would find groups of models that want to start growing their portfolio. And sometimes they'll be willing to take photos for free so they could have those photos to actually show to future potential agencies. So highly recommend this because of the importance of lifestyle photos. Next, here's a wonderful tip that we've actually done and I would highly recommend. If you have a product that you think would be best showcased in a really beautiful home or a really beautiful yard or anything like that, a restaurant, maybe consider renting an Airbnb for a day, a really nice Airbnb. It could be a staycation, and you could actually take wonderful photos around the place, or go to different commercial places like restaurants and take some photos, of course, asking permission from the owners. But those are just some ideas that you don't necessarily need to get stuck with really basic images. You can actually think outside the box and get really wonderful and professional images by just doing a little bit more research or by investing a little bit of money in a day vacation or something like that in a really nice Airbnb. And then last but not least, you can consider hiring a professional photographer. And actually, just as you can easily find inexpensive models, you might actually be able to find inexpensive photographers as well, local photographers. So go ahead and look for Facebook groups of local photographers that are trying to maybe expand their portfolio as well, and they might be willing to either do it for free or charge you very little for that. So we've done that before as well. We've partnered with local photographers. We've also hired other photographers abroad that they did wonderful jobs, not only taking beautiful photos of the product, but actually photoshopping those images into lifestyle scenarios, and they looked very professional. So we had a wonderful experience with them. And if you're interested, I'll be sure to leave their link in the resources below. And then if you're selling any type of digital product, you do not have any excuses, because I also have some product mock-up tools. So the first one is Adobe Photoshop that I highly recommend. As I said, you can easily get a stock photo or a lifestyle photo that you get in a different situation and then Photoshop your product together, specifically if you have digital products. You already have that file on your computer. So a lot of times what you can do is just get a beautiful stock image with maybe a blank piece of paper and do the mock-up of your product design on top of that blank sheet of paper, and now you have a beautiful lifestyle image. But if you're not comfortable with Adobe Photoshop as well, you can use, of course, Canva. Canva has wonderful resources. It has stock photos, as we've already covered here in the course, and they even have a lot of photos that have those blank slates to where you can easily drag and put your design on top. And there's another tool that's actually specifically for merch products, and that's called Placeit. And I'll show you guys a little sneak peek of what it looks like. There you go. Here with Placeit, you can actually mock up all different types of designs. It could be t-shirt designs. It could also be artwork, but it's really wonderful because you can actually see someone wearing it. You don't need to pay for a model. You don't need to ask your friends to wear it. You don't need to have all this beautiful lighting and this perfect environment. You can actually just mock up the different designs, but just keep in mind that you should be trying to find as close as possible of the product that you're selling. So for example, let's say you're selling tank tops, but their straps are actually much wider. I wouldn't be using this photo because your customer might actually be upset because they're buying based on this photo with thin straps, and then when they receive the product, you see that they have broader straps. But this website has tons and tons of different resources. You can see right here, for example, if that was your case, you have options for that. So I would highly recommend this website if you have digital products. And then the last tool is the Mockup Editor, and that's specifically a great tool for printables and artwork. And I'm also going to give you a sneak peek of that here. And then as you can see, Mockup Editor has all of these different scenarios and lifestyle images to where you can easily incorporate your designs too. So for example, you see here that there's a lamp right in front of that frame. And if you don't really want to use Photoshop, it would be a little bit difficult for you to get rid of this section of your design and make this photo really realistic. So Mockup Editor takes care of all of that, because you can easily just upload your design and then drag it here, and then it's going to populate that field, and it's going to provide you with some beautiful, beautiful lifestyle images. And I can guarantee that you're going to have higher sales if you have these types of product images. So I really hope these were helpful. I'm super excited for you. Do not slack on your product images. Get creative, get your product photography tools, get your friends to help you out, and then optimize your product images as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next video.